So today I'm going to talk about my setup for single-handed salmon fishing. So I've got a 9'6", 7 weight and a reel that's suitable for sort of 7 to 9 weight lines. Occasionally in the summer I might step it down to a 6 weight, but for the staple of it, a 7 weight. We're not talking about any double-handed fishing today. Like you can see, the river behind me is quite big, which double-hand would be lovely there, but we're just going to concentrate on single-handers. So in my armoury I have a Skagit type setup. I've got some different ones, but this one sort of would cover everything really. This is a 13-foot body and you can put 10 to 15-foot tips on it. It's integrated, so very, very easy line to live with that. So if you are fishing like moorland spate rivers and they flash up and it's roaring through, that's a great one. Hardly any D-loop. You can overhead it if you're very, very careful. Just make sure, I would just underline sometimes what the manufacturers say. They're at the max sort of weight. If you come back a little bit, it gives you a bit more versatility with your casting. We've got an intermediate, brilliant line for fishing bigger rivers, or even those smaller rivers when they're lower. It's quite stealthy. You don't get that sort of the floating tip at the end where it's making a V. It gets right down. Great for sun rays and stuff like that, and small flies. And then obviously we're going to need a floating line for fishing hitches and long leaders with light flies. You know, in the summer a fish will come a long way. You know, I've caught in dirty, filthy rivers before on a floating line by fluke really. I was just having a cast. You couldn't see more than 6 or 7 inches and the fish head and tailed, and it's taken my fly. Unbelievable. So yeah, floating line, intermediate, and if you've got a Skagit type setup which will take really heavy tips, those lines will see every part of that season with your single hander. Most people have got a floater hanging around and they've got an intermediate hanging around, so if you only have to buy one of these lines, it's one line. And you know, if you're a reservoir fisherman, you've got one line. If you've got a 9' sort of 6 weight or a 9'6", 7 weight, or even a 10' 8 weight, in that sort of size there, you're salmon fishing. There's lots of access to salmon fishing within the southwest. You know, sometimes people think it's a bit of an elitist sport and it's all syndicated. It isn't. It isn't. You know, you can join all sorts of clubs that have some nice salmon fishing, and some of it is uber cheap, and some of it's probably the best of it. You know, you're having the first stab on some tidal water on some of these clubs. So I'm happy if anyone wants to DM me for a little bit of information just to get you going salmon fishing within the southwest. Happy to help. Hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching.